Uh, their student is for class 12th, chapter number 4, The Enemy, or book Vistas. This is lecture number 2. Clouds were rising from the ocean now. The unexpected warmth of the past few days had at night drawn heavy fog from the cold waves. Shadow watched mists hide outlines of a little island near the shore and then come creeping up the beach below the house. Asta everything breathing around the pines in a few minutes fog would be wrapped about the house too. अब ये कोहरा जो ये ख़त्म होने वाला था इस मकान के इर्द गिर्द से then he would go into the room where Hannah his wife would be waiting for him जो अपने कमरे में दाखिल होने वाला था जो अपनी जिसको अपनी वाइफ Hannah दो बच्चों के साथ इंतज़ार करती थी but at this moment the door opened and she looked out a dark blue woolen or over her came she came to him affectionately and put her arm through his as he stood, smiling and said nothing. He had met Hannah in America, but he had waited to fall in love with her until he was sure she was Japanese. His father would never have received her received her unless she had been pure in her race. He wondered often when he would have married if he had not met Hannah, and by what luck he had found her in the most casual way by chance, literally at an American professor's house. The professor and his wife had been kind people anxious to do something for their few foreign students, and the students, though bored, had accepted this kindness. Shadow had often told Hannah how nearly he had not gone to Professor Harley's house that night. The rooms were so small, the food so bad, the professor's wife so valuable, but he had gone there. He had found Hannah a new student and had felt he would love her if it were at all possible. Now he felt her hand on his arm and was aware of the pleasure it gave him, even though they had been married years enough to have the two children, for they had not married heedlessly in America. They had finished their work at school and had come home to Japan, and when his father and had seen her, the marriage had been arranged in the old Japanese way. Although Shadow and Hannah talked everything over beforehand, they were perfectly happy. She laid her cheek against his arm. It was at this moment that both of them saw something black come out of the mist. It was man. He was flying up out of the ocean, flying. It seemed to his feet by a breaker. He staggered a few steps, his body outlined against the mist, his arms above his head. Then the curled mist and him again hide him again. Who is that? Hannah cried. She dropped Shadow's arm and they both leaned over the railing of the veranda. Now they saw him again. The man was on his hands and knees, crawling. Then they saw him fall on his face and lie there. Sado had met Hannah in America, but he had waited until he was sure that she was Japanese before deciding to marry. His father would never have approved of her otherwise. Called that Sado recalled that his meeting with Hannah was an accident. Sado lived in Professor Harley's house and had almost not gone to the professor's house that night, where he met Hannah. a new student. After Sardo and Hannah had finished their studies, they came home to Japan. The marriage was solemnized in the traditional Japanese way according to his father's wishes. They were happy couple. One night, Shadlow and Hannah were enjoying the view of the sea from their veranda when they saw something black coming out of the mist. It was a man. He staggered a few steps and then the mist hid him again. When they saw him again, he was crawling. Shadow thought that he was a fisherman washed ashore from his boat. हमने देखा कि ये फिशरमैन था. Thank you.